Let's get started. Welcome to Town Hall. Welcome to the town's workshop meeting. Charlie Madigan, could you get us started?
Good evening, everybody. On a roll call, Councilman Divney. Here. Councilman Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Vittori.
Here.
Supervisor Stewart.
Here.
With Councilman Troy being absent. I would ask Donna Morrison, please begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Charlie. And again, welcome to Town Hall. It's been, I think, 3 weeks since we've had a meeting. So I hope everybody had a nice, change of rhythm. And but there's been a bit of an accumulation of things to work on in the meantime. So we have a pretty full agenda for next week. A couple of announcements. Number one, the Great American Cleanup is in full swing. You'll see the banners recruiting volunteers and cleanup events to take place every weekend through April and into May in different locations from Spark Hill to Pearl River to Nyack and Orangeburg. And the different groups involved are to be commended, but more importantly, they are to be joined. So please look at the Keep Rockland Beautiful website and bring your friends and family out to help pick up the trash this spring. So that's Great American Cleanup. Secondly, you'll notice out front there's a solar project display with flyers on it. I won't go into it, but there's a group funded by the New York State Energy Research and Development Group, NYSERDA, to help town residents access good deals for solar panels and just pick up a flyer and stay alert for future meetings about opportunities in that area. Next week, we will have two hearings, actually. One is a continuation of our hearing about the prohibited uses, and the other is a hearing about amending our local law relating to hawking and peddling. And so both of those will be taking place next week. And let's see. I think that's it for announcements for right now. On tonight's agenda, we want to start out with a presentation by Mr. Dan Duffy, who's an attorney who has worked on behalf of Orangetown and other municipalities and a diverse group of entities trying to have voices heard at the Public Service Commission when the utilities, chiefly water and electricity and gas, go in for rate increases periodically. Town of Orangetown has participated by helping to pay for Dan Duffy's work, along with many other municipalities helping on the Orange and Rockland rate case, which I guess you can give us a little bit of update on that. But now, every few years, Suez, or used to be United Water, comes in for a rate increase, and the Public Service Commission has to make decisions, and we don't want to be left out of that conversation. So Dan is here to update us on his work on behalf of the communities, and also to ask the town board to consider helping to fund the work on the Suez rate case, as we did with the Orange and Rockland rate case.
Good evening,
Mr. Duffy.
Good evening, Supervisor.
And he has a handout too, which I placed in front of all the town board members. Let's see, it says update on Public Service Commission matters. Tom, did you? I don't know if I.
Good evening,
one
town
extra
board
here.
members, town clerk, Attorney Edwards. I have three issues I want to cover tonight. The first is the Suez Water New York rate filing, previously known as United Water. They changed the name to protect the guilty, apparently. And the first thing I want to point out is that it is a 13.7% overall rate increase. It gets better. The single-family increase on average, single-family residential ratepayers are looking at, on average, an 18% rate increase. And that can run from a low of 15% all the way up to 90% for very, very large single-family water users. Multifamily are targeted with a almost 16 to 30+% increase. So these are very, very significant rate increases. They're changing the rate structure to a three-tier rate structure that will be permanent, whatever the season is. So they're basically getting rid of the summer differential, which set a higher rate, and they're trying to keep water consumption lower throughout the year. My particular favorite is the $54.5 million mortgage, as that I'm calling it. This is the money that is left to be collected that was spent on the desalination facility in Haverstraw. That includes almost $6 million worth of legal fees that they have not disclosed because they're keeping all of the bills confidential. And so that is to be collected very much like a mortgage over a 20-year time period. So there will be an amortization of the principal and a return on the unamortized balance. So at the end of the day, the ratepayers will be spending more than $100 million in terms of providing them recovery of those dollars. And then finally, hidden buried deep into their testimony of about 1,000 pages is a proposal to impose a surcharge for about 10 projects that they think they're going to have to build beyond the time period of the rate case. So what we're looking at now is a rate year, which is the 12 months ending January 2018. So it takes 11 months for the gestation period for the rate case. We're just really into it now. We've got about another 10 months. Discovery is ongoing. We're asking questions of the company. There is a procedural conference that's going to be held on April 20th up in Albany. That will set the schedule for the next 6 months in terms of when the hearings are going to be. So that's one update. The second one, and just when you think utilities have not been able to find enough chutzpah, they exceed your expectations. Orange and Rockland had travelers' insurance policies for their environmental claims, and they didn't timely file the claims. The policies amounted to about $16 million altogether. And then to fix their mistake, they litigated for 13 years and came up with an $8.9 million legal fee. They lost. The Court of Appeals would not accept their appeal of the appellate division, which found that they had not timely filed their claims. So now, in the height of chutzpah, they want the ratepayers to pick up the $25 million that they've left on the table. They want complete recovery of the legal fees, and they want the ratepayers to bear what would have been insurance proceeds. And so the Municipal Consortium on March 20th, of which the town is a member, we filed an opposition to that request. And in addition, we're asking for a refund. They started collecting this money. They've already collected about $8.1 million of the legal fees. So what we did was we said, okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're late on your bill, you get a 1.5% charge a month. So we are requesting a refund of 1.5% a month on the money that they've already collected from the ratepayers. And so we sent them a bill essentially for $12 million, and we hope the commission will see fit to honor that. Whether they do, I'm not sure. But those rates went into effect in November. The new Orange and Rockland rates went into effect in November. The electric has a 2-year rate plan. The gas has a 3-year rate plan. Okay, final update. Because of the new rates, I have to update the streetlight analysis. I appeared before you once before, and we discussed the economics of the streetlights, but I want to do a quick update on that to make sure that with the new rate structure, it's still a good deal for the town to move forward. So that's coming early next week. We'll have that done. So what I'm now inviting you is to join the Municipal Consortium for the Suez rate case. And I think there's some compelling reasons to do that. The Rockland County has made a huge impression on the Public Service Commission as a result of the community's extraordinary efforts mobilizing and fighting for 7 years the desal plant. Successful, we abandoned that, and had we not been successful, your water rates would double within 2 years, guaranteed, because of the high capital cost and the high operating expenses. And just as an aside, of the 13.7 million average increase they're looking for, more than half of that, about 55%, is due to the recovery of the pre-construction cost of development charges, the $55 million mortgage. there is no public voice on behalf of the consumer. Early in Andrew Cuomo's administration, he got rid of the Consumer Protection Board. And the Consumer Protection Board was essentially a voice that was seeking to assist low-income people. And in that regard, this is particularly difficult rate increase because it's increasing the customer charge by over 30%. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but for somebody who's having a tough time making ends meet, you can't avoid the customer charge. I mean, if you went to Florida and you kept the water service, you still would be paying that customer charge without using any water. So it's a particularly difficult concept. We have to show politically the will, and hopefully it'll be bipartisan, to the Public Service Commission that we need to get a better treatment. The Public Service Commission is not really honoring, in my view, their name, Public Service Commission. They are not serving the public adequately. The company has received, over the last 10 years, every single year on average, a 10% rate increase. Okay? I don't think anybody in this room has gotten a 10% increase in their salary, maybe over 3 years, but not every year over 10 years. And it continues. I mean, they're back in again. They're continually seeking to increase the rates, and they don't seem to have any ability to control their costs. And I think part of the reason is that they are owned by essentially a financial holding company, and they are basically saying, send us money. And so it's unfortunately, the community asset, the water supply, is now being used as a financial source of income for the parent. And they really, I'm sure the folks that run Suez don't even know where Rockland County is. But they will be telling the managers to send money. No matter how they figure it out, they got to do it. And so there's a tremendous amount of pressure for them to meet their financial commitments to provide the dividend, up to Suez. And so I think we really have to have a strong presence before the commission. Let me use this as an analogy. The company comes in, asking for 100%. The staff of the Public Service Commission, who's the other major party in this case, has got to balance the interests of the shareholders and the ratepayers. So they'll come in and they'll say, okay, 50%. So then at the end of the day, maybe they're at 75%. We need someone that's going to go in there and say 0. The right answer is no rate increase or a very small rate increase, and you have to live within your budgets. Just like the town, you're stuck with a 2% cap, I assume, and other constraints. You can't just continue to spend the people's money, and we have to get that point across. And I'm asking the town to join with other municipalities. The way I've structured this, I'm asking the 5 towns to contribute $50,000, with each town getting a pro rata cap based upon their population. And so that means Ramapo will pick up over 20%, and Orangetown's cap would be $7,894. That would be spread out over roughly a 10-month period, about $800 a month. So that's what I'm asking you guys to consider, joining the Municipal Consortium and taking whatever actions that we can along the way to influence the elected politicians, to influence, as we euphemistically call the second floor, the governor's office up at the Capitol, because they know we're here. They realize that Rockland County is a heck of a county, and I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of great communities, but this by far is the best educated, the most active, the most persistent. I've never seen anything like this community. And you've gotten noticed, and I think you want to stay that way so we can have a great impact on mitigating these rate increases. So thank you. If there's any questions, don't hesitate.
We were in a different course. Which one was that for?
The one we joined last time was the electricity and gas
Were we
rate.
successful at all in that? I don't think we were.
Well, he was just
Well,
describing
we
that.
did. We were able to reduce the return on equity. We were able to moderate the overall rate increase, stretch it out over a period. So I think if you look at the order, you'll see that the Municipal Consortium, did we get everything we wanted? Of course not.
No.
But there was a little bit of a break on what the company wanted, and we were able to push back, and the commission recognized some of that. And, so we won a couple of the points, but nonetheless, there's still a rate increase. And, as you know, Con Edison is Orange and Rockland's parent, and S&P calls Con Edison a dividend aristocrat. So they have the same needs, send money to the parent. And so it's quite a challenge, but I think we need to fight the fight, or otherwise the increase is going to be higher than otherwise should be.
Have the other 4 towns agreed?
Not yet, but we're in the process. Ramapo has agreed. I'm hoping you guys are going to agree, and then I'm hoping to show the leadership, and the others will come on board. I think Clarkstown will agree to it, but I don't know until I actually get an official.
We'll bring you to the meeting of the town supervisors, too. John, weren't you saying that West Haverstraw was participating or not?
The village of West Haverstraw has joined, yes.
Right. So there's some villages and other
Yep.
entities that might
Yep.
be involved.
And
besides
we're
the
also
towns,
hoping that the schools join, because water is a big part of their budget as well.
Right. Yeah, we can-
And we've asked the Rockland County to join, and we've asked the sewer district and the solid waste authority to join, so that we have as big a, and it also, mitigates the individual impact in terms of contributing to this, effort. Okay.
I have to say, Dan, I think that your work is a big reason why the Public Service Commission recognizes that Rockland County is advocating for its interests better than it ever has before.
Well, I'm a
the-
tool.
the-
I'm a
the-
tool. It's the
and the
it's the
number of
resolve of
times
the community.
I've
It's
heard
the-
you,
It's the resolve of the community. A lawyer's just a tool, basically. It's,
but the
you're
number of
the
times I've
principals.
heard you speak at community events and forums and, really educating people. The Public Service Commission is out there, and they're going to strike a deal with the utilities. And, we have a choice. Either we fight for our town residents and ratepayers and the town itself as a ratepayer, or we let them make up their minds without that voice. And I just appreciate your work on that. And I think it has had some success, certainly with derailing desal and kind of totally repositioning the whole debate around United Water. And it's something that I think you know more about than everybody else does. So
Any
I'm
other-
happy to support your work.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll take my leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming tonight. I'm actually not sure I have that resolution yet on here, but I'd like to put it on if the town board is inclined to support that, because of the reasons that Dan basically laid out. Does anybody want to discuss this matter further, or you want to move on to the next item?
I'm fine.
You good?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with it.
All right. Does anybody object to having the town participate in this? You want to think about it some more, or you're, okay?
If you're gonna put it on for a vote, let's put it on the agenda, don't put it on presentation, so everyone knows it's being voted on.
Okay, I will do that. Let's see. The next item, this is a discussion item, and it's attached to an item, I forget, I think it might be number 13. This has to do with, we've been hearing for years that this old building is going to need to be substantially overhauled or replaced at some point. Maybe somebody can find this agenda item. But essentially, working with Eric Gordon and working with Alan Riff and local engineering architect companies, I've been trying to get some guidance on what to do about the aging out of this side of Town Hall. And the request for proposals, which I've circulated and gotten some comments on, essentially is the recommendation of these volunteer architect engineer little subcommittee I put together, essentially saying you need to do a study of your office space needs and associated parking with an eye towards bringing the building department in and consolidating offices, and then look to see the status of this building in terms of improvement or demolition or reconstruction, and also the feasibility, relative costs and benefits of moving to a new site, since we've talked about the possibility of using some land at the former Rockland Hospital that the town owns. And so all of those items are things that we've discussed, but we've never actually sat down and gotten a cost-benefit analysis. and some sense of what our needs will be with a new town hall. So the purpose of this request for proposals is simply to obtain some proposals to do that review of our needs. And I just want to entertain any kind of questions or comments about that, or because I do have a resolution on the agenda for next week, essentially to issue that RFP. Hold on a second, Tom. Designation.
Because I think you're gonna need to have a couple of proposals. Maybe one's the Dodge Dart, the next one's a Toyota, and then the other one's a Mercedes, because I just can't imagine how much it's gonna cost to redo this town hall. So there's certain things we might have to have, and there's certain things we'd like to have. So you might have different proposals coming in, because it can't, I think you need to have, you know, maybe 3 different proposals coming in.
Well, I know we did ask for reconstruction here or a new building off-site on the RPC.
Which
Can
is,
we,
I,
do
this,
what we do, which I think is a good idea.
I agree with Paul on that. I'd prefer to do it at the,
But I think that's covered in the.
Yeah, it's the language is in the draft RFP that I sent everybody.
no, that's, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
you could do a $50 million project, or you could do a $25 million project, and, you know, we've got a 2% cap to work with. You know, even if we bond it, you know, it's gonna be a big bond.
Isn't this, the proposal is to find out what we need, right?
Yeah, how
Is it-
much space?
Right, so until we find out what kind of space we need, then we can outfit it afterwards, right?
Well,
Well, this-
I guess the thing is, you know, we can say what we need, but we might have to revisit that when we find out the
Right.
price attached to it,
Absolutely
you
right.
know. We might have to say, this is our budget, and back into that budget, as opposed to saying, this is what we want, tell us how much it's gonna cost.
Right, okay.
I guess it's a starting point. and
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it. We
No
have to-
problem with it, I just, you know.
Yep. No, it's going to generate questions, even as it answers a few basic ones, and that's
All
a
right.
good thing. So,
Sounds good.
thank you for that. So that's been circulated, and again, if there's any changes or whatever, just say the word.
All right.
But I think it's pretty straightforward. Thank you for that.
Peddling.
So that was actually item number 13, that's down, or 14 in the agenda. So then getting on towards our other items here, the first one is a set of resolutions related to the hawking and peddling,
Items 1 through 4. right?
1 through 4. And just as a reminder, it's all online, and the intent of that is to strengthen our permitting process for anybody who wants to go door to door selling or trying to buy, and also to create a list that folks can register to simply not be bothered, and increase the penalties for violations of those permit standards. And we thank the town clerk for administering that, and also there'll be a window decal that will be a sort of a last warning if a hawker and peddler neglects the lists and actually approaches the door. Hopefully they'll see the sticker. But this is a program which the town clerk and the police department are involved with reviewing any application for hawking and peddling, and this law strengthens that process in the ways I've described. So it's been reviewed and commented on by town attorneys and clerk and police, and town board members have all added in a little here and there, which I thank you for. So I don't know how much more there is really to say about that. Number 5 is housekeeping. Thank you for the I guess it's, well, maybe it's Teresa Kenny who usually puts that stuff together, but it's basically housekeeping. Number 6, okay, this is the one that we've been talking about a little bit by phone, and this is essentially, we have a developer interested in the core area of the Rockland site property, as well as the state's vacant lands at the Children's Hospital and the power plant. And they're spending a good deal of money on feasibility analysis, and it is the right thing to do to have a temporary agreement whereby the town would charge the developer a monthly fee in order to not sell the land to someone else for a maximum of 6 months, and pursuant to them hitting some benchmarks related to providing an actual offer on the land and a specific proposal related to the filming campus that they want to build. And so that's what this is, and I know everybody's had a chance to look at it. And John, town attorney, has done a nice job putting it together. If there are any questions or concerns, please let me know.
John, when do we get the money? The 8,600? We getting it all up front?
Monthly?
Monthly,
So
15th day of each month.
I'd rather have it all up front.
They may well need to either conclude more quickly or to extend.
So
So the
this
total
doesn't-
length of the thing isn't
I'm
necessarily
sorry.
known right now. Go ahead.
This doesn't stop us from looking at other offers, just not selling the property until a 6-month period. And we do it at 6 months intervals. I don't see how we lose on this.
That's
It
just
covers the grass cutting.
a little
I'm fine with
bit
it.
for the landscaping. Keep it looking good. And it's, you know, it should go without saying, but I'll just say it, that it is common for interested developers and investors to contact my office and also the town council members just to explore ideas. And because of the conversation around Rockland Site for the last however many years, we have a pretty good idea of what might work and what might not, but it's always interesting to hear from investors. And so this is a proposal for the core area. We also have people frequently talking to us about Lot 1, also about the staff court parcel on Orangeburg Road. And so, but this is a process that I think makes sense for the core right now, and I'm pretty excited actually by the prospect that we might actually have a live one here.
And this actually excludes Lot 1
Right, this is
Staff
just for
court.
the core.
and the golf course, just the core.
I think they-
And parts of Lot 5. Lot 5 is that, the one on the water,
Right, but not Lot 1,
not Lot 1.
No.
and not staff
Not the
court.
triangle.
Right.
Not the triangle, okay.
Thanks for that clarification, Paul. Just one other thing, one of the partners in the prospective development would be available on Tuesday next week, just to give some general indications of what their concept for development is. And then the whole point is to get a specific proposal with an offer on the land as soon as possible. All right, any other questions, conversation around this item?
no, fine.
All right, hearing none. That sounds, all right, let's see. Item number, I'm sorry, 7. 7, this is a retention of a accountant firm to go through the tax collection, 2015 and 2016 school tax collection, to make sure everything is in order.
Well, we need to know who it is and how much we're paying them.
Exactly. Well, that's where you need to fill in these blanks. And so we've got a couple of ideas for that. And obviously, we can't pass this resolution without filling them in. So as soon as we have specifics on that, we'll circulate it.
Can you circulate who we're considering?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and referrals are welcome as well. Number 8, hold on, let me write that down.
Keep it brief.
All right, these are budget adjustments. Thank you, Jeff, for taking the podium there.
Yeah, these are, every year we do this after our auditors come in, and you'll see there's several pages here. And these are budget adjustments that the auditors have asked us to make for the adjusted budget. There's no changes to the original budget, but we have a separate line for the adjusted budget. And just to let the board know where we are preliminarily, on our overall results for 2015. Similar to other years, it looks like we're going to use a little less fund balance than we actually budgeted for, but that'll be coming out, probably 2 to 3 weeks. We'll get the final results, but that looks like where we're at, which is actually pretty good. So.
Jeff, why is shared services so much higher?
One of the things we did this year, and the auditors recommended last year, that we take a look at our shared services and do an analysis on how much, of the town attorney's time is spent supporting the highway department, how much is spent supporting the sewer department. Same thing with the finance office, same thing. And so there was a reallocation. In the past, it was just done, with a grand estimate. In this case, we pulled all the different department heads and actually had them detail how much of their time they spend supporting the other funds. And so there is, bigger changes in shared services this year than you've seen in the past, because we didn't just use the same formula, but we have a more robust process for how we calculated what those were. And that's what the auditors have indicated that, oversight is looking for from the GFOA, and so we moved in that direction. But that's why that number is a little bigger.
That's it.
Thanks, Jeff. All right. Number 9 is the fishing contest run by the Pearl River Rotary, I believe, which is always a lot of fun. That's coming up soon on April 17th. I'll mention as well, it's not on here, but the John Ballou 5K Fun Run in Pearl River is on the 16th in the morning. Hope we get a good turnout for that, as always. Number 10 is, this is authorizing highway management to attend a conference at this highway school in Ithaca, New York. Number 11 is the same kind of resolution, only for the North American Snow Conference in Hartford, Connecticut. Number 12 is an Adopt a Road program application from the Rockland Cemetery Group to clean up along Kings Highway, which is a wonderful thing that they're doing. It's certainly fitting with the spring cleanup going on. We thank them for that. And just remind ourselves and anybody who's listening that the town does have an Adopt a Road program, and landscapers and others can sign up for it, get recognized for their community service, and help keep the town looking beautiful. Number 13 is a Homes for Heroes grant-related resolution. This is the town's green infrastructure and drainage project down adjacent to the Homes for Heroes housing project on town land, or land that is to be owned by the town once the process is complete. And this is a resolution related to that grant. For the grant came in at about $900,000, and the town's obligated to have a certain amount of that project be paid for by the town itself in the form of in-kind work by the highway department. And Stefan Munoz here, and we appreciate your really yeoman-like effort tracking at what is a massive administrative kind of coordination among the engineers and highway and stakeholders to
And this,
really continue this project. Go ahead, Tom.
just to confirm, this grant doesn't require the town but to do any housing requirements.
This is a drainage project.
No, I'm just saying, it's a federal grant, and, there's no requirements that we have to build or do anything, by the federal government.
The federal government, the answer is no. It
That's
doesn't.
all I
but-
wanna
yeah.
know.
But just so you know, that in order to get federal land, you have to use it for something that meets their list. And drainage and watershed improvement is one of those things. Homes for Heroes is working on a housing project, which is,
Well,
and
I
then,
know
and then the animal shelter apparently fits the criteria as well, so with any luck, those guys will be
I
getting
got
some land as
calls on
well.
it. I just want to
Interesting, right.
confirm that we're not being required to do anything.
No, it's for drainage.
All right.
And number 14 is what we talked about already for Town Hall. Number 15 is Eric Gordon, our Park Superintendent. Do you want to talk to the town board about that a little bit, Eric? I don't see any big changes in the fee schedule, so.
Yeah, there's only two that are on here. You know, and I sent the email around this morning. I'd spoken to Charlotte earlier today. We're adding a fee for commercial filming on parkland. You know, all the filming that comes into town initially goes through the town clerk's office to get issued a permit, but occasionally if they want to go on to town parkland, they then get sent over to us to coordinate that. And we've always kind of worked with them on a fee. This seems to be reasonable. We've charged this fee in the past, and, you know, they can certainly afford it, so it's a benefit to us, and so we want to
So
go that route
whereas in the
with them.
past, you've had to come up with a fee
Right,
concept,
you know,
now
I
you're
think the
just
first
setting
few
it so they
times, we
know.
were charging them the $35 general use fee, which was kind of laughable, given
Right.
the, you know, what their means are. So we've gone to this now, and it seems to work. The other fee that's on there, and this kind of tracks back to the new field use policy that was approved a few weeks back. We, in the past, have had a request, and we've accommodated a camp that's not technically classified as a not-for-profit or a 501c3. And again, we've always charged them for the use, but this kind of establishes an actual fee, since they do actually fit into one of those categories on that policy. And obviously, they wouldn't get preference for use of the field, but if the field's available, they certainly could make use of it, and again, revenue is always a nice thing, so.
Right.
Okay.
All right, looks great. Thanks, Eric.
Okay.
Thanks for your work on that. Number 16, this is a short but very important resolution accepting the resignation and retirement of Detector Robert Goldrick, who has served the town so well, and I know will be missed greatly. We should probably plan
That'll
some
go
ceremony around that.
next week, right?
Next
So,
week,
yeah,
yeah.
well, I'll save the remarks for next week.
Yeah, let's do that. But in any case, that's a important thing to recognize. Number 17 is a conference training attendance in Saratoga Springs for our Director of Building Department, John Giardello, in his capacity as the floodplain manager for the town. So that's number 17, modest cost for that. Number 18 is sewer certificate for 3 businesses. Number 19 is another retirement of Joe Grasso from Parks and Rec. Number 20 is, and there's a couple of other personnel items. These are sort of, Donna, do you want to just come up just in case the town board has any questions for you? I mean, there's frequently, first one is for Pat Quinn. And they're all no change in salary.
The item for Pat Quinn and for Anthony Bevilacqua, I got their lists from the county, so now they could both be appointed permanently.
There's no change in salary for them. What about number 22?
No, there's no change. It's a lateral move. I sent you an email today explaining why we're changing this.
So if you have any questions after reading the email, just follow up with Donna. So thank you, Donna.
Okay.
That's it for the items which are actually on the agenda right now. Is there any other matter the town board wants to get into right now? Or needs to see on the agenda for next week? John, do you have anything? No need for executive session or anything like that? All right. Then with that, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second? For Valentine, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Safe travels home. Enjoy watching the, what is it, the primaries in Wisconsin are tonight, right? So.
Primaries in Wisconsin.
That's the big excitement.